Greetings, YouTube. You're looking at a somewhat pixelated version, but hopefully accurate, of the new 5-star crystals that you'll have a chance to purchase if you are of a certain prestige and have enough artifacts with the new dungeons. And so it is my job and my task to do the work for you and basically tell you which crystals you should go for, which ones are the best value, and which ones are the worst value. Now, I could do this a number of ways, but I've decided, for the sake of efficiency, because I don't want this video to be half an hour, that I will label a champ into 3 separate categories. Category number 1, total trash. Somebody that you'll land on and just instantly regret wasting all those times and days grinding in dungeons. Then the second category is, basically it's somebody that's not a hit, but not a miss. Basically, they'll be used as glorified arena fodder. And then the third category is yes, which really, if I was being super specific, I'd have 2 different categories for the top category. I'd have like a yes and then an OMG, because there are certain champions that you'll be excited to get, and there'll be certain champions that are truly game changers for your roster if you don't have them. So I might specify a few people, but for the most part, let's stick with those 3 categories and start in the top left, which is Nebula. We'll just go this. Nebula is someone that I think is a yes champion. In fact, someone like Julie Ray runs her very well in the top platinum, almost master brackets of Alliance War. Double immunity, got some regen. Most champs are not immune to shock, and so the shock damage is pretty much a guarantee, even if you're facing somebody like an Iceman. And just a great champion. Nebula is somebody that I've been blessed enough to get, I believe, twice now as a 5-star. Really wish I could get her as a 6-star. Killmonger is the best champion in this 5-star crystal. One of the top 10, if not arguably top 5 champions in the game right now. So much utility, so much damage, so much value, great synergies. It is a true OMG yes champion. So the first 2 champs in this crystal are fantastic. Now, the third, Morningstar, is also a very solid champion. Someone that has fantastic value in Alliance War defense, and also because of the way that she can convert buffs into more damage, you can absolutely destroy competition. So I'll say that she is a yes as well. Now, Miles Morales in between is kind of like a I do know some people who are fans of Miles, but for the most part, most people just use him for arena or maybe Alliance War defense. Now, Cyclops is total trash, despite the fact that Kabam Mike said that Cyclops can take down magic. Still have no idea what he meant by that, but Cyclops is total trash. And if you thought Cyclops is total trash, Colossus is even more total trash. Even though I've never had a Colossus thrown my way, and I always like new champions, so I would take a Colossus in a crystal, but certainly wouldn't tell you to be excited about that opening. OG Spider-Man, much better unawakened for attack, but the best in terms of Alliance War defense is when he is awakened. Kind of an not great, not terrible, just in the middle. Star-Lord is very much an average champion, unawakened, but a top 10 champion when awakened. My MVP for so long before I got Blade. Truly a yes, and even OMG, even though if you don't have a Tech Awakening gem or a generic, you're not going to get that much use out of him and may not even understand where the hype is. Taskmaster, the Calculus 4 champion of MCOC. Someone that I think is just not terrible, not great, in the middle. Some people love to play with him. I am not one of those people because I have not spent the time needed to master the tasks. And lastly, Captain Marvel. I think somewhere between the yes and classes, I think Captain Marvel is, when awakened, one of my favorite champs. You build that power, you do insane damage, very suicide mastery friendly. So this is a very solid crystal to review first, that top left. So we've got Nebula, Killmonger, Morningstar, and Star-Lord as the top 4 champions, so 40% drop rate to be excited. Then we've got some middle tier champions, Miles Morales, OG Spider-Man, and Captain Marvel. All 3, and Taskmaster, I should say, all 4, pretty solid, not terrible. So you really only have a 20% chance to get what I'll just call straight depression out of a Cyclops or Colossus. And even then, there is some usages. So I think the value from a 1 to a 10, 10 being the best crystal we've ever seen, 1 being I'm vomiting in my mouth just thinking about it. This crystal's got an 8 out of 10. Very solid value, especially if you don't have a 5-star Killmonger. I do not. And so, yeah, I'm very excited about that crystal. Now, let's stay in the top right. Hood. I think Hood is a yes champion, someone that's so underrated in both an attack and defense. Really solid champion. Blade is the best champion in the game in so many ways. If awakened, you have that infinite regen up to 70% health. Insane bleed damage when you've activated the Deep Wounds Mastery. You can bleed just by parrying. Probably the best special 2, at least in my book, in the game. A true OMG game-changing champion, the best champion in any of these crystals. So Hood and Blade, straight up fantastic. Venom is a champion. In the middle somewhere, not someone who's terrible, not someone who's great. Venom should be way better. I hope and pray that somehow Kabam actually gives him a couple of buffs before the Venom movie. Ultron, Age of Ultron, is a yes champion. Double immunity with regen, and someone who got a little nerfed in patch 12.0, but still has a lot of value. Drax used to be a yes champion. Now he's somewhere between yes and because of the silent nerf, which no longer bypasses Mordo's Astro Evade, and I will never believe that frame rate lie BS. And also, he doesn't bypass Quake anymore. 2 of the best usages for the character. Just really sad because I opened a 6-star Drax right before all that happened, of course. But I'll still give Drax a benefit of the doubt because I know some people who do some damage with him. I'll say he's more of a yes champion than a meh champion. So the first 4, Blade, Venom, Ultron, Drax, Hood, actually first 5, no big misses there. Spider-Man Symbiote, one of my favorite champs, so underrated. Parry, heavy attack, parry, heavy attack, stack those armor breaks. I'm going to say, even though a lot of people would say that he's maybe a meh, I'm going to say a yes champion too because I love him that much, and I think if you get used to stacking those armor breaks, you will too, and you have a guaranteed critical hit with that special too. Bishop is definitely a meh. Now, some Alliance War nodes are pretty good for Bishop, and I've seen some people get some good kills with him, especially as a 5 and a 6-star, but at this point in the game, he's not above a middle tier, but certainly not trash. Gladiator Hulk is a yes. One of the best science champions. Not that that's saying much because the science class is still pretty much trash, but a great champ. I am hunting for this person as a 4-star, so of course I'd be happy with them as a 5-star. Moon Knight, I'm still going to put as a meh. Not somebody that I get ticked off if I get. They're not a Groot. They're not a Cyclops. They're not a Satan herself, Kamala Khan, but also not somebody that you're going to use a whole lot once you get better champions. And then Cyclops Blue Team, just like Cyclops New Xavier School, total trash. Not somebody unawakened that you're going to be able to use much at all. I do think Cyclops' animations are really cool, but overall, this is another crystal that I think has fantastic value. You look at the guaranteed amazing champs, Gladiator Hulk, I think Hood and Ultron, and of course the top champ Blade all belong in there. That's 40% of the champs. And then you've got Moon Knight, Bishop, Spider-Man Symbiote, Drax, all who are somewhere between the middle to upper tier. You can make an argument for either. All champions that I think are not misses or reasons for you to complain. And then you've got the Cyclops Blue Team, which is the only champ that you have a 10% chance to be like, dang, I got the worst champion in that crystal. That really sucks. Okay, we're going to move on to the second level of this infographic, and we are going to look at Karnak. Now, Karnak used to suck, but then between the True Strike mechanic being really valuable now in the game and also the Medusa synergy, Karnak has very solid value. I'm still going to put him at the meh tier, but certainly he used to be total trash in my book. Hulkbuster and Juggernaut, the next 2, total trash, especially unawakened Juggernaut. I do enjoy playing with Jugs when he is awakened, great Alliance War defender, but still, if you open them, no reason to be excited. Gwenpool, fantastic champion, OMG level, certainly a yes. Red Hulk, also a yes, used to be total trash, got a great buff. King Groot's low in meh. I hate fighting King Groot in Alliance War. I fought multiple King Groots last night in dungeons and did not enjoy that, but I'm not going to be excited about opening a King Groot. Sabretooth, fantastic champion. The more I watch videos of Sabretooth, even though I don't have him, the more respect I have for Sabretooth. He is absolutely a yes champion. Storm, borderline total trash. Maybe, I mean, if you have her awakened, certainly she's at least but when you open Storm and this stakes, I'm going to say more total trash than anything. Superior Iron Man, same thing, total trash until he's awakened. Not someone, if you don't have him, that I would be excited about. And then Void, OMG, top 5 champion in the game. So much utility. It is amazing how many people have now 565 Void over people like Stark, Spidey, or Blade in some cases, and no one's told me they've regretted it yet, even though it's quite the bold decision. So this crystal, I do believe, has great value at the top, but also more trash at the bottom. You've got some straight bangers in Void, Sabretooth, and Gwenpool, and I'll throw Red Hulk just a tier beneath that, so 40%. But there isn't a lot of the middle tier in this crystal. It's mostly trash if you don't get those champions. Storm, Superior Iron Man, Juggernaut, and Hulkbuster, and then King Groot along with it. Certainly half of the crystal, that's 5 champions, are champs that I would not be excited about. So top left, I'll say, is an 8 out of 10. Top right, maybe a 7.5, just slightly below it. And then this middle left is a 5 out of 10. Now, that's because if you get Void or Gwenpool or Sabretooth, it's a 10 out of 10. And if you get a Juggernaut or a Hulkbuster or even a Superior Iron Man, maybe a Storm, it's almost like a 1 out of 10. So you're either getting a 10 or a 1, which averages out to a 5. Now, the crystal to the right, Medusa, straight banger, top 5, certainly top 10 champ. OMG level, game changer, fantastic. Dormammu is certainly at least a yes when you land on Dormammu. A champion that maybe is hurt a little bit if they continue down the path of changing Mystic Dispersion, but still there's a reason why Kabam chose this guy to be the final boss in Alliance Quest. Black Panther Civil War is a meh tier champ. Not the worst, but certainly I still will never understand how Black Panther Civil War as an attacker is so average when you have somebody like Killmonger, who allegedly Black Panther is way better than in the comics, just destroying him in terms of value as an attacker. Iron Patriot, total trash. Gambit, even though I love Gambit and there's some usages, and maybe he belongs in the middle tier, it's somewhere between the total trash to middle tier. I'll say, just for the sake of argument, Gambit's the middle tier. Old Man Logan, underrated, especially with Sabretooth, but besides that, the old balls are still the old balls. And I'm gonna say for this, total trash. Howard the Duck, in terms of usage, also total trash, even though I love Howard the Duck. Elektra, meh, middle tier. Venom Pool, total trash. And OG Captain America, definitely somewhere between the total trash and middle tier for the sake of these crystals. I'll give them the benefit out and say middle tier, but Captain America OG has gotten worse and worse in the current state of the game versus the new champions that have come out. So this crystal is not very exciting at all. Basically, it's Medusa and Dormammu or bust. You only have 2 champs that I get really excited about, and then a bunch of champions that I'd feel, not really one way or the other, unless I got someone like a Venom Pool or an Old Man Logan or an Iron Patriot. So I think this crystal is the worst crystal by far. If you really, really want that 10% RNG for Medusa, you will never have a better chance to get her. So if you just care about Medusa, I completely understand where you would go for this. But if you have Medusa especially, move on from this crystal. Overall, it is a 3 out of 10 in terms of value. And then we have our next section. Agent Venom, still a pretty solid defender in the current state of the game. I'm going to say he's a yes champion, about the same par I'd say as a Hood, given what he can do, but maybe Hood's a little bit more valuable. Anyhow, Mordo is kind of an in-between champion. I'm going to go ahead and say Mordo is a meh champion, but at the same time, I would not be mad to pull Mordo. I still don't have him. Yellow Jacket is somewhere between the meh and the yes. I still think Yellow Jacket is crazy underrated, especially awakened when you have that guaranteed stun or power sting. But given how many people have said that they're not the biggest fan of Yellow Jacket, I'll put Yellow Jacket in the high-end middle tier, the high-end meh tier. Hela, man, another champion that's somewhere between that top and middle tier. I'll go ahead and stick her in the middle, but I would not be mad if I got her. Sentinel, I think, given the value of especially Alliance War Defense, although I've seen some people wreck Sentinel with attack as well, I'm going to say he's in the yes tier. Ronin, middle tier. If you didn't appreciate Ronin, you will this month in the Uncollected, because Ronin saved you so many revives and potions if you have even a 4-star Awakened Ronin at rank 4 or higher with the final bosses of the Symbioid and also the Red Skull. Winter Soldier is okay, but I'm going to say for the sake of this, total trash. Beast, okay to total trash. Rogue, very solid. I'm going to say yes to Rogue and yes to MODOK as well. So this crystal has 0, count them, 0 God tier champions, but a lot of the somehow middle to upper tier champs. But because there's no one that you're just going to take a screenshot and instantly send it to me to brag in the lineup of this, besides maybe Sentinel and MODOK, I'm going to give this a 5.5 out of 10. Just a very solid. It's sort of like a team in like a sporting game that's got no A+ players, but also no C- players, just a bunch of C+ and B-. Now, on the right side, you've got Thor Ragnarok, who I still think is a middle tier champion, kind of like Hela, but maybe a tad bit worse in some cases. Iceman, God tier champ, an OMG to a yes. Spidey Gwen, total trash. Cable, middle tier, meh. Iron Man, total trash. Rocket Raccoon, middle tier. Groot, total trash. Mephisto, I'm going to say, is a yes champion. I think Mephisto is so underrated. I love Mephisto. OG Black Panther is a middle tier, and Sentry, even after the buff, is a middle tier. So this is one of those crystals where if you're looking at other ones that have 3 to 4 insanely good pulls, this has 1. And it's Iceman. And if you have an Iceman like me, you're just going to stay far away from this crystal. Because this has a God tier champ, unlike the one on the left, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 6 out of 10 value instead of a 5.5, and that's it. So in recap for this video, I've tried to go as efficiently as possible. We see in the top left and the top right probably the 2 best crystals overall in terms of value. You not only have insane pulls like Star-Lord and Killmonger on the left with a couple of very solid misses like Morningstar and Nebula, but on the right you've got Blade, you've got Gladiator Hulk, and then you've also got Ultron and Hood. I love both the top 2 crystals on your left and your right. I'm going to say an 8 out of 10 on the left to 7.5 out of the right. Now, the middle tier does have some straight bangers, especially if you love yourself a Void. The best crystal in terms of God tier champs is actually the middle left one, because you've got Gwenpool, you've got, I think, Sabretooth deserves to be in that conversation, and you've got Void. That's 3 out of 10, 30%. Red Hulk is a good 4th champion out of that tier, but then you've got a bunch of average to below average after that. I'm going to still give that about a 7.5 as well. And then the right, you've got Medusa and Dormammu, and then almost nothing else. And so that's where the value really goes down. It's either really, in terms of overall excitement, Medusa or bust, because Dorm is still not on par with, say, a Killmonger or even a Gwenpool. I'm going to give that a very average 5 out of 10 value. And then the bottom 2 are the bottom 2 for a reason. The one on the left is just a lot of C+ to B- champions. A crystal that, unless you're really targeting a specific reason for a Hela or a Ronin or a Sentinel or even a MODOK, I would steer clear of. We're going to safely give that one a 4 out of 10. And then the right one, it's Iceman and Mephisto and not much else. I'll give that, I'll say the final grade is a 5. So a 4 out of 10, a 5 out of 10, we'll say a 7.5 out of 10 on the left, a 5 out of 10 on the right, and then an 8 out of 10 on the top left, and a 7.5 on the top right. So we've got definitely some tiers. Now, certainly you know your champions better than I do when you're watching this. So if there's a champ that you really, really have wanted, like a Blade, go for it. If there's a champion that you think you just need some more arena fodder, and there's 7 out of 10 champions that most of them might be trash, but you want a new champ to get points in the arena, that's going to determine your situation. But just by value, hopefully I've broken it down for you. I wanted to keep this video under 20 minutes. I tried to time myself, and we are just right now at under 19 minutes. So by the time we finish up and say thanks, it will be 19 minutes. So thank you so much for watching. I know this is one of my longest videos ever, but I want it to be as efficient and specific as possible to help you out as much as possible for those of you that can get these crystals. Good luck to everybody in Dungeons. I really like the new iteration. I've said that before. I'll say it again. And I'm personally probably going to go for the Killmonger crystal because I want myself a 5-star Killmonger with my 5-star Void. Thanks for watching, YouTube.